Well, what gives you confidence that Boeing is actually going to be able to deliver?
Well, people like me have been around a long time, and I know the Boeing of old, and I know what Boeing could do, and they were really, really a great company. I see no reason why what has happened in the last decade cannot be fixed, and that Boeing cannot restore itself to its former glory of being an aeronautical engineering designer of excellence, producing fantastic products which have populated most of the airlines in the world anyway.
So last week, just days before the 2025 Dubai Airshow was set to begin, all the proper aviation YouTube channels and websites, especially in Europe and the Middle East, lost their collective minds over the breaking news that after years of shying away from the Airbus A350-1000 for their long-haul routes because the Rolls-Royce Trent XWB engines are fine for some applications, however for Emirates' long-haul needs over hot and dry deserts, well, let's just say they are no GE90 engines. Or as Emirates President Tim Clark publicly stated in the past, the Rolls-Royce Trent XWB engines are, quote, defective. And that is the reason why recent breaking internet stories of a change of heart at Emirates came as a surprise. Because for years, Emirates has acknowledged that Airbus's largest engine, the Trent XWB, continues to underperform in climates like Dubai, where Emirates has held off ordering the jet. And back in 2019, Emirates said that the engine works really well in what we call benign operations, but in sandy hot conditions it is challenged, as all modern engines are, because the temperatures are very high. And we see that across the industry. Thus, Emirates has constantly stood by the Boeing 777 variant for all of its challenging long-haul needs. And it was also in 2019 that this feud between Emirates and Rolls-Royce really heated up, when Emirates President Tim Clark voiced concerns about the durability of the XWB and Rolls-Royce's maintenance prices just one day after placing a major order for 90 Boeing 777X jets with the rival engines from GE Aerospace. At the time, Clark told reporters that the Trent engine was able to spend only a quarter of the time on wing between service visits compared to expected levels, and he said this amounted to a level of performance that he described as defective. And to be sure, Rolls-Royce has been improving the engine over the years and correcting its growing pains and flaws, but as Tim Clark sees it, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So he's sticking with Boeing and GE, and in case you haven't noticed, he's really in love with the newest 777 variant, the X version, and it hasn't even been delivered yet. But as far as Clark is concerned, he can see into the future, and the future for Emirates at least is the world's largest twin-engine 777X. But more on that in a minute. However, back to my earlier point. Like I said, I'm sure you saw all the videos in your feed of shock and awe at the idea of Emirates finally burying the hatchet and ordering the A350-1000. But did you happen to notice which channel did not release a video on that wild internet rumor? That's right, this channel. Because like I said, I'm a fan of Tim Clark and I've studied his relationship with Boeing over the years. And I sniffed out this wonderful media decoy troll a mile away. So when the 2025 Dubai Airshow finally arrived last week, what happened? Well, all the same media outlets were asking, hey, where's this big Airbus order we've been hearing about? Oh sure, Emirates ordered 8 A350-900s for some of their other routes, and Clark praised the 900 as a peach of an aircraft and indicated that Emirates would buy more in the future. But the much-rumored A350-1000 orders never came. But why? Well, like I said, they were never coming. But it was a hell of a play by old Rolls-Royce himself. But still, that should have come as no surprise to any aviation aficionados. Why? Because Tim Clark is in love with the 777, and he's also a fan of the art of the deal, so to speak. And Clark knew he was going to place a monster order for more 777s in Dubai, 65 more jets to be exact, valued at about $38 billion at list prices. However, by floating this Airbus rumor just before the air show, you can guess how Boeing reacted. And while we don't know for sure, officially at least, you can bet Boeing knocked a hell of a lot off that list price for Sir Tim Clark and Emirates. Especially since considering he's been so patient with the constant delays from Boeing while waiting for his new X-Jumbo jet. And that, my friends, is what I like to call the art of the troll. Clark has Boeing over a barrel and Boeing knows it. And I dare say Emirates and Clark may hold Boeing's entire future in their hands. And this isn't the first time old Clark has trolled Boeing in the media using the threat of an Airbus purchase. He's gone to that well many times before, and every time, he's pumped out pure gold. So then what happened to the highly anticipated purchase of up to 60 A350-1000s that Emirates was so rumored to be ordering at Dubai in 2025? Well, how about we ask the boss himself? At the air show, when asked about the rumored purchase, Clark stated that the widely speculated order for the Airbus A350-1000 was, quote, never gonna happen at the Dubai Airshow or anywhere else. And he dismissed the speculation outright, citing his long-standing concerns over the durability and performance of the Rolls-Royce engines in the demanding climate of Dubai. So you can't get any more definitive than that. Tim Clark is just not that into Rolls-Royce, but you can bet his bedroom is plastered with posters of the GE9X engine. And to be fair, it isn't just Emirates that has had issues with the 1000. Back in 2024, several airlines carried out precautionary inspections on the Airbus A350 fleets after Hong Kong's Cathay Pacific found 15 of their planes that needed fuel line repairs following in-flight failure of the part. Cathay Pacific, which had 48 A350 jets, identified 15 aircraft that required replacement parts. Also at the same time, Japan Airlines, which had 5 of the jets, said it had inspected their engines but found no defects. Qatar Airways also carried out inspection of 24 of its jets, and Etihad, Virgin Atlantic, and British Airways all did the same. And airlines also inspected their Dash 900s as well. Now, all that being said, Airbus, of course, has dethroned Boeing as the king of the aviation world, and the A350 is a superb aircraft for almost every other application. Almost. But make no mistake about it. Built on the amazing success and safety of the original Boeing 777, the new Boeing 777X is poised to be even greater and may go down in history as one of the greatest twin-engine wide-body aircraft we've seen. And Sir Tim Clark knows that more than anybody outside of Boeing. And Clark in Emirates isn't satisfied with just anticipating the arrival of its first 777Xs in 2027, because while in Dubai this year, he told Boeing he wants an even bigger folding wing jet, a jet that isn't even on the drawing board yet. And in response, Boeing said it will begin studying the feasibility of a stretch 777-10. Boeing told Aviation Week that in the case of such a large capacity twin-engine aircraft, these requirements focus mainly on whether it could meet current critical engine failure certification rules. But as I mentioned, the prospect of the larger 777-10 potentially seating up to around 470 passengers or more emerged at the Dubai Airshow as part of Emirates' $38 billion deal of 65 additional GE9X-powered 777-9X jets. Although details of potential configuration changes are yet to be evaluated, Boeing's Justin Hale said we've committed to a study with Emirates to understand those things. To increase maximum seating capacity toward the 50-plus additional passengers targeted by Emirates President Tim Clark, the 777-9 would need to be stretched around 16 feet, taking the 10's overall length up to 268 feet. The 777-10 evaluation will also cover design aspects ranging from added structural weight to payload range changes. Although the potential size of a prospective 777-10 and its market potential remain unknown, Boeing VP Darren Hulst says Boeing continues to investigate what other things are in the art of the possible. So there you have it, just some of my thoughts on the art of the troll and Mr. Trolls-Royce himself, Sir Tim Clark. So what do you think? Did you think Emirates was actually going to order 60 new A350-1000s? Or were you like me? And did you sniff out Clark's plan the whole time? Please be sure and let me know down below.